One of the first things I dealt with in my kitchen upon moving in was to change the layout on this wall. The first thing I did was move the fridge from in front of the glass of the display cabinet to the opposite end of the wall, and to do that I had to rearrange the cupboards to accommodate those changes. I didn't like that long cupboard over the stove. It really bugged me. I rearranged until I got it the way that felt best for me. At the far end, I took an old bookcase and cut it down so it wasn't as deep and painted it to use as a pantry, which came in very handy as there weren't many cupboards in this kitchen. You'll notice between the stove and cupboard there was about a 4 to 5 inch gap, so I purchased a slide out spice rack on Amazon, and since it wasn't as high as the cupboard and stove, I took an ice cube bin, lined it with a grocery bag, and I used that so much more than I originally thought I would for cooking trash, like eggshells, cheese wrappers, and the little things that you don't want to run back and forth to the trash can for every little thing. It works out great. Before anyone is so kind as to point out to me the obvious, yes, my stove is beside my fridge. I don't ever use the burners on the left side of the stove. I'm retired and I cook for one, so no fridge or its contents is being harmed in this video. I hate clutter, but I do live in a small kitchen with very little storage, so I do my best to organize and utilize the space I have to work with. I hang my utensils on the fridge to alleviate drawer clutter and to make it easier to find what I need and keep everything from catching in drawers. Almost every one of my cupboards has a Lazy Susan in them to maximize storage and make it easier to see and get to everything. I will point out areas where I try to get the most storage out of the least fortunate space. While there was nothing wrong with how the kitchen was when I moved in, it was not to my taste. One, because red is my least favorite color in the world, and two, I'm ornithophobic and the chickens had to go. The chandelier was adorned with roosters, so it got swapped out for a white ceiling fan. The day my grandchildren came to see my house, I asked them, "Hey, you want to peel wallpaper off the wall? It's fun." That saved me from having to look at it another second. They got it peeled off in no time. And with some paint and a little elbow grease, I got it more to my liking. I made the window treatments out of styrofoam insulation sheets and fabric, and installed the same window shades that I put at all the rest of the windows in my house. I utilized stacking drawers that I already had on hand and alleviated sacred cupboard space by using the drawers for plastic containers, bread, and table linens. Between the drawers and cupboards, I repurposed another shelf by adding casters on the bottom and a handle to pull out for an appliance garage. For the sink area, I replaced the rooster wallpaper border with white glass tiles, painted the yellow countertops with countertop paint by Rust-Oleum. I've used that paint at least 5 times before and love it. And at $30 per quart, it is much cheaper than purchasing new countertops. I installed under cabinet puck lighting and plugged them into smart plugs to include the kitchen lighting into my smart home design. I added the blinds and homemade window treatments as on the other end of the kitchen, and I painted the cabinets white. The cabinets were in good shape, but I prefer white because it shows the dirt, and if you can't see it, how do you keep it clean? I also replaced the faucet. At first, I thought I'd use this cupboard to display china or special pieces, but after I moved in and was feeling the full weight of the sparse cabinetry, I opted to display my everyday dishes in it to free up the real cupboard space for food and items I prefer to have put out of sight. I love my pink dishes, so I was happy to display them. I removed the glass doors and got rid of the red paint with white paint and covered the back of the cupboard with the same fabric that I made my tablecloth. I also crocheted a little ruffled shelf border. I added a piece that was my grandparents' below the cupboard for added storage. The piece was for silver, and I kept mine in there as well until I moved into this house and found I needed real storage for more than just my silver that I no longer use. I keep my little Rubbermaid one step under it because it just fits so nicely under there and it's so darn handy. At 5'4", I'm not short, but I do need it a little. Okay, I need it a lot. I gave the kitchen of my queendom a little personal added touch using my Cricut. I absolutely adore my grandchildren and being a grandma, so I wanted it to reflect that in my decor. And I also used my Cricut to make labels for my pantry. Anyone can decorate and organize with money, but if you're like me and you want to do more for less, I hope seeing what I've done helps to inspire you. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe or ask questions and I'll answer. And hopefully I'll keep making videos. I've done so much more to my little queendom and would love sharing it with you.